You know me as the host of the Too Busy to Eat show, but I'm also founder and CEO of Too Busy to Eat, the protein bar company. I make what I feel is the healthiest and best tasting protein bar on the market. So now it developed from my own frustration of not being able to find a bar that tasted good and that was extremely healthy, that I could have maybe multiple times a day if I was really busy, or I could feed my kids and not feel guilty about what they ate. So I created this bar with grass-fed whey protein, no more than 3 grams of sugar, which is all naturally occurring, and it's gluten-free, non-GMO, the list goes on. So don't take my word for it. I want you to try them. And I want to give you incentive to try them. So I'm going to give you 20% off your first order. You can get a sample bag of bars, or you can get a whole box, whatever you want. Go to my website, toobusytoeat.com. Not hard to remember. Show, the company. And enter the promo code TBTE Show. TBTE Show. Actually, it's a discount box when you check out, and you'll get 20% off your first order, no matter how small or large. So go to the website now, try them out, and then let me know what you think. Welcome to the Too Busy to Eat show. Today we have Kenny Stanford II with us and Roy Maynor Jr. with us. They have a company, a training facility called Grit Fitness in Texas. They're just amazing guys. They specialize in helping people, basically get more out of life, but through obstacle course racing. So they train people for obstacle courses, and they do a ton themselves. Their lives were changed through obstacle course racing, and they decided to change other people's lives. So let's hear from Kenny and Roy. So welcome, Kenny and Roy. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on the show. I love Grit Fitness and the idea behind it. So welcome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So you're down in Texas, right? Fantastic. I love Texas. I gave a brief overview of what you guys do and how you got there, but could each of you give an insight of your journey to how you got to where you are today?
So I think we should start with talking about where it is we are today. So
sure. Yeah, perfect.
I know you said you already kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
From our perspective, we are just two regular guys that had the idea that we wanted to help people do what we had done with fitness. Right. And that's basically discover that we are capable of so much more than we believed we were. Right. And that we were not too busy to be healthy,
right.
And not too busy to be active. And it's actually kind of become a more central part of our life because of that. We realize how important it is. It's no longer we're too busy to eat right or be fit. We're too busy not to.
Right.
We want to stay busy. Yeah. We want to stay busy as long as we can. We're both super busy guys. He's got 2 kids. I have 5 kids. I run a few businesses other than Grit Fitness. He has a full-time job. We're both heavily involved at church. Right. And so we believed, I think, both of us, we would have said we were too busy to add one more thing into the fire, one more iron in the fire. And now we found out that it actually has made us better at what we do.
Right.
We haven't slowed down at all. We still do all the things we used to do. We just look and feel a whole lot better. So that's where we're at as far as our physical, fitness goes.
Yeah.
And we're just always trying to improve and get better. Right. And then as far as business-wise goes, we started Grit Fitness in January.
Okay.
And with a handful of members, some friends, wanted us to do something. We were training together. So we made it into a business. Right. We wanted to help people discover what we had found in obstacle course racing. That's kind of like the drive behind Grit Fitness is obstacle course racing.
Yep.
So we wanted people to enjoy that with us. Now it's what month is it? October?
It's October.
October, almost November. Yeah, already October.
Yeah, it's a year. Yeah.
January, and we're right at about 150, 160 members.
Yeah.
And we're in a town, a small town of about a population between 4,000 and 6,000.
Wow. Yeah.
So our minds are kind of blown at this whole thing. So we used to work out with just our friends, and now we're having strangers show up,
right.
and we're putting them through the rigors. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's where we're at as far as how we got there. Roy, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I mean, full-time jobs, life is busy, right? You blink your eyes. I was married at 19. Blink my eyes. I'm now 30. Really badly out of shape. Work a lot. Just because you work a lot don't mean you're healthy, right? So
no.
Eating habits were terrible, and showed up at work one day, and a guy asked me if I wanted to do a Tough Mudder. So
yes.
Kind of went on and started researching that, and found out that I had about 8 months to get ready, and decided to start training for it. And blink your eyes again, and here we are 3 years later. Somewhat of we're trying to be professionals, right? We've learned a lot, stumbled a lot along the way. Really, our focus on nutrition has been probably a big thing over the last year.
Right.
Of course, we train and are always trying to find the next thing that will help us achieve a higher physical fitness and our members as well,
Right.
But, through the nutrition over the last year, for me, it's really been, key to what we're building here. So
what are some of those, what's helped you the most in the nutrition aspect of your health?
So, Kenny stumbled across Abel's book, and
Abel James, Fat Burning Man. Yeah.
Fat Burning Man. Yes, sir.
So that has been, you start to research, once you start to do this, I want to exercise thing. I want to start to push my body, you start researching, what the world says is good, right?
Right.
Carbohydrates, carb loading, all those things.
Right.
I actually last year at about this time was physically burnout.
Right.
From working out 6, 7, 8 days a week,
right.
and eating the way that traditionally, we're, as an athlete, you're supposed to eat.
Right.
And I was telling a couple of our members, I tell anybody that'll listen, this year I have not trained nearly as hard, but the nutrition has been, for me, on point, and I feel better now, and I feel more confident now
right.
on the race weekend coming up than I would have felt last year, or than I did feel last year.
And that's that.
Yeah. It's huge, just something as simple as Abel's, book has really just opened up just a plethora of information.
Right. What is the name of that book? I've looked at it, but
it is The Wild Diet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's fantastic. So that, and then you're Roy, before you were mentioning a little bit that that's changed you guys, it changed your lives. And then you started sharing that with your members, and that's been a huge, and family members. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always say that it's contagious. Health is contagious, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I started implementing this into the family, they kind of hate Abel to an extent, right? Because sugars went out.
Oh, yeah.
And all the stuff that, we hoped was good, it's not. There's so much stuff that says healthy on it. It says natural. It's just, it's just marketing, right?
Right.
So
the new one's gluten free. If it says gluten free on it, then
it's perfect. Right.
So gluten is right, but it doesn't have any. So
yeah, well, people look at that, and then they got 50 grams of sugar in it, and they're like, "Oh, it's gluten free. This is great." Yeah, no, who cares if it's gluten free? If it's got
it has a plethora of other chemicals in it.
Yeah.
No gluten.
It's been a crazy trend where people have grabbed on and used that term and have really tricked the general public, because people are like, oh, it's got to be good.
Absolutely.
And there's and they load it up with sugar to get people addicted to it. Yeah, it's crazy. So you guys, you personally, you're fitness wise, you're still racing, you're doing things. You have one coming up. Which one you have coming up this weekend?
It's the Spartan Dallas Beast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's in Glen Rose, Texas.
Okay. Now the Beast is what? Give me a little background.
So it's between 12 and 15 miles.
Right. Okay.
And they always push it as far as they can. So if they can find 15, that's what they'll have us run. So
yeah. Now, how did you both, Kenny, did you get it in the same time as Roy to the obstacle course racing?
So let's talk about that. So to the beginning of 2013, I had already decided that I wanted fitness. I wanted to be fit. I wanted to be healthier. I was trying to eat healthier. I think I had previously watched the documentary Food Inc.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was home. I think I was homesick from work one day, and I was on Netflix, and Food Inc. was on there. I watched it, and I'm like, it kind of rocked me. I was like, what is happening right now? What did I just watch? So anyways, I decided I wanted fitness. I wanted health. I wanted to eat right. Nothing stuck though. I tried P90X, which I still love to this day. It just wasn't something that I could ever stay disciplined with.
Right.
Doing it by myself. And again, finding the time to do it was very difficult. So, and then the eating right, I would be off and on again with that as well. And then I saw these obstacle races start popping up. I think the first one I'd heard of was Tough Mudder. And it looked like fun, but it wasn't that quite attractive to me at the time. And then I saw some ads for Spartan Race. And it was the more competitive side, jumping through fire, crawling through the mud. And, it was on the competitive end of things. And so that's what caught my attention, was the competitiveness of it. And I thought, I want to see if I can do one of these things. I want to experience this. I was on a cruise in January that year, and I actually met the guy that is head of the medical for Spartan Race.
Oh, wow.
Like, this has to be a sign.
This is a sign.
So got home from the cruise, signed up for a race. I think it was either in April or May. I think it was in May. And started training, instantly. I had never run. I had never enjoyed running, hated running. So I started running and training, did the race in May by myself. I wasn't training with anybody. It was just me pushing myself. I just really wanted this. That was actually the point when I decided that if I was going to train, I was going to have to do it at a time. I'm going to have to make time. I was too busy. So I decided I was going to start getting up at 5 o'clock every day, 5 a.m. That alone was like, I'm not a morning person. I wake up at like 3:50 every day now.
Oh my gosh.
That's just my normal schedule. So I decided, okay, I'm going to have to start waking up earlier. I started training. It was a religious routine for me every day until that race. And the results that I got when I crossed that finish line, and then I looked at the results of how I had placed, mind was like, you say mind blown. It was like, I don't understand how I was capable of this. I just started running 5 or 6 months ago. And now I'm able to do this race, and I feel good about myself. This is amazing. This is what I want. I want this. This is not going anywhere. Stay on the path, whatever it takes. This is very important to me now. So he saw that I had done it, done this race. He had just completed a Tough Mudder, I think a few months later. And so I think it was before the Tough Mudder that we actually hooked up and started training together. Was it before or after? No, it was just after, because you was at that Tough Mudder too. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, you went to the Central Texas Tough Mudder. I didn't do that one. I didn't do a Tough Mudder that year. Anyways, we started training somewhere in between there. Doing mud runs. Obviously, if you don't put it on Facebook, it probably didn't happen.
See?
We were Facebook friends, but I wouldn't call us. We weren't friends like we are today, for sure.
Absolutely.
But we only lived a block down the road from each other.
Oh gosh.
And our schedules happened to sync up. I trained at 5 a.m. every day. It was like, I can do that. I have that time available. So it just happened to work out. We started training it together every day. And the rest is history. That's where it started for us. Like
that's awesome.
2 months after that race that we did race together, was the actual Spartan Beast, which will be the 3rd anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So, we weren't ready for that one. We weren't. That was something.
But
you need some grit fitness first, right?
Yeah. Well, it was like, 38 degrees with a 20-mile-an-hour.
Oh, God.
So there was snow on the ground. In Texas, that doesn't typically.
No.
So,
right.
Yeah, we really got our backsides handed to us that day.
Our eyes were opened.
Yes. See, but you're learning, going through all these things, so you help, others. Do all the people that train with you, do a lot of them end up doing an obstacle course race, or are they just wanting to get fit, or is it all across the board?
So they show up thinking that they just want to get fit.
Yeah.
You make them realize how crucial it is for them to do an obstacle.
To do it. Yep.
And it helps. So not everyone that's a member of our gym has done one.
Right.
I can tell you this, they want to.
Right. Yep.
So we try to make it possible for them.
It is awesome. Yeah.
We don't have a huge group going to the Dallas Beast this weekend.
Right.
Just because of scheduling conflicts with a lot of people. It just happened to be a bad weekend.
Right.
I think it's Halloween weekend.
It is, yeah.
Probably the biggest conflict.
Yeah.
So, but there's another race the next weekend, November 5th, Savage Race, that we're taking a group of, I think, between 30 and 40 people.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So I had my story. I did a Tough Mudder in 2013, and I went through the same idea. I was a former college athlete. My wife was a college athlete, or actually a professional athlete. And we had kind of not got totally out of shape, but we just weren't. And we did a Tough Mudder. Oh my gosh. It was like life-changing. I would encourage everybody to try one, because there's different levels. I mean, you guys know this, you've done them. There's people out there that can actually almost sprint the whole thing, and they're like, they're done in a couple hours and they're superhuman. And there's people that take 5 or 6 hours, but it's so encouraging and life-changing to finish it and just know you did this massive challenge, and it's awesome.
Spartan Race's slogan for the longest time, I think it still is, I'm not sure, is "You'll know at the finish line." So they were
cool.
onto something there.
Yeah.
It's that finish line. You're like, I just did that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
And you go and you look at pictures of stuff you've done. You're like, holy mackerel. I mean, I climbed that wall, or in the Spartan race, I go out through that fire, Now, do you have a favorite obstacle course, or is like Tough Mudder or Spartan or a different mud, or do you do all of them?
Really, we like all of them.
Yeah.
I prefer Spartan Race.
Right.
I think it may be the nostalgia. It's the race that I've done the most. It's the first race that I ever did.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't, but I like the burpee penalty idea. They're the only race that has that. Yeah. So if you fail an obstacle, it's 30 burpees. So
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
A lot of the obstacles are one try. So
right.
It's not that you can't do the obstacle. You slipped and you fell.
Yeah.
It's not saying you can't do it. If you tried it a few more times, you'd probably get it.
Yeah.
You didn't get that option. It's 30 burpees.
Wow, that's great. So it's more of so Spartan, in my amateur opinion, is more of that competitive, you can push yourself a little bit more. The Tough Mudder, they emphasize more team, like go together.
They actually, they got started not being competitive. They've recently rolled out this new race series called Toughest Mudder.
Yeah.
Off of the World's Toughest Mudder. They did this once a year competitive event, World's Toughest Mudder, 24-hour. Of a 5-mile course that you just,
I watched that streaming 1 year. It was ridiculous. These guys were just, they were just trying to survive.
Yes, that's all it is. Survival of the fittest. So now this year, this 2017, they've rolled out another competitive series, Toughest Mudder. So, But yes, the basic Tough Mudder is not competitive in any way. Right. It's more about camaraderie, team building, and just kind of getting out there and getting out of your comfort zone. So,
right.
Yeah, which
that's cool. That's right. Now, how often do you personally, you guys do these?
So this has been our slowest year.
Okay.
We started the gym. We've done less races this year than we've ever done. He's done quite a few more than me this year.
Right.
Had a newborn this year.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That alone kind of got me dead in my tracks. I had a few races that I was already signed up for that I actually didn't end up doing. But apart from that, our typical goal is to do as many Texas races as we can.
Right.
Because we're in Texas, there are several. So
I'm sure
there's quite a few.
There's a lot of room for courses.
So
that's great.
A minimum of 5 at a minimum.
Right. Which is, for those type of races, that's pretty intense. That's really intense.
Next year, I've already made my schedule, and I have my first marathon I'm going to attempt.
Yeah.
See what happens with that. Furthest I've ever ran, I think, is 16 miles. That was a training run. Yeah. Getting ready for the beast. So we'll have to add another 10.2 to that. See what's left after that. And then also my first Ragnar relay. I don't know if you're familiar with Ragnar.
No.
The Ragnar trail. It's actually not a trail. It's a relay race. It's a road race. So it's like a 6-man team.
Okay.
He did it last year. I was supposed to do it, but with the newborn baby, I just wasn't able to make it.
Right.
But I'm signed up for that next year. It's a 200-mile relay. So we're each going to do roughly 33 miles. So,
oh my gosh.
So anyway,
that is a blast.
We just do the obstacle racing. We like all things endurance. I would probably be doing triathlons if I had a place where I could train for that. Right. With a $10,000 bike.
Right. Yeah.
Not saying I won't be able to. So.
Yeah. But that's it all takes time, but triathlon, there's so many different components to that for training time. It's, with the kids and everything, it's tough, man. Yeah. I did a sprint triathlon this summer and it was a blast. But training for that just takes a lot of different components. You're biking, swimming, running. It's just time.
Yeah.
But it's good. That's great. Now for Grit Fitness, you're growing, you're building. Do you have something? What's coming up for you that you're excited about? Is it just the natural growth, or is there something coming up with Grit Fitness?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
There's actually more than we can talk about, right? To be honest.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that we're not quite ready to reveal.
Right.
We don't have all the details ironed out, but yes, our future looks very bright with Grit Fitness.
Right.
All we're going to do is keep expanding.
Right. Yeah.
Making things better for our members, and then trying to reach even more people that are not just as local as our hometown. So we're looking at ways to do that. Our number one goal, really honestly, is to educate people. So we're looking at ways that we can educate more people about the importance of nutrition and fitness as a whole. And, obstacle course racing is just a vehicle that we've chosen to do that because we're passionate about it, right? You have to do what you're passionate about. So we find that after a person does their first obstacle course race, they are usually something goes off inside of them, and they're a different person.
Absolutely.
It awakens something that has been sleeping inside of them that they didn't know was there. So lots of awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I'll let Roy tell you maybe some specifics about it.
Okay. Perfect.
So, as Kenny said, we just want to reach people.
Right.
So, we tell people a lot, that kind of something that, I tell people every chance I can is to set a goal, right? It's hard to just look at all this and say, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. But if you set a small obtainable goal, like a 5K, or I want to lose 20 pounds,
right.
It's a little bit more obtainable. And then, we go to work through education.
Right.
And so we just want to get better, right? That's something that we're looking at, more education for ourselves the right way, learning it the way it should be learned. Just reading what's the latest fad and taking that, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, we're definitely going to expand. We're going to expand, and we want to train people. We want to be able to educate people on nutrition.
Right.
If they want to be a runner, how to perform an obstacle course race at max capability.
Right.
But we also like, the American Ninja Warrior stuff too. Who doesn't, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then rock climbing. I mean,
we try to combine fitness with fun. That's our
right. Fitness and fun. I love it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then a couple of the things that we have specifically coming up are, so we're in an 1,800 square foot facility right now.
Okay.
And, we have, like I said, between 150, 160 members.
Right.
And sometimes it gets a little hard to breathe in there.
Yeah.
So we're in the process right now of having a brand new facility built.
Oh, wow.
The spring of next year, that will be ready. Like I said, we're in 1,800 square feet right now. The new building is going to be around 10,000 square feet.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
It's going to offer a lot more than we do now. Things are going things are going to be a lot different while keeping all the same stuff that's good about Grit Fitness.
Right.
To grow and add some things that are going to help everyone on every front. So, and then one other thing that we're working on, just to once again help people stay consistent and stay constantly being educated, is a video series.
Okay, that's great.
Short videos where we just give information on nutrition, fitness, how to stay motivated, that kind of thing.
And will that be on your website when you?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Yes. All right. Now, if so you have that person sitting at home that is where we were at one point, kind of not in the shape you want to be. What would you give advice? Each of you give one piece of advice to that person that has a busy life, but they're not, fitness and nutrition isn't part of it right now. What advice would you give them?
For me, it would be, don't wait. Don't wait for a sign. Don't wait for that perfect moment, that perfect timing. Don't wait till you think you have time. Carve some time out. Stop something else if you have to, or do what I did. Wake up earlier. There's always time to wake up earlier. I did have to recalibrate that because I did start to realize how important sleep was.
Right.
But at first, it's what it took to make that mental shift for me. So if that's what you have to do to shake yourself, then do it. Get up earlier. Lose 2 hours of sleep every night. Yeah. It will be worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing for me. Make it a priority. Realize that you are costing yourself years down the road. Who knows what will happen to you if you prolong the path that you're down. I do know what will happen to you if you choose fitness. You'll feel better. You'll sleep better. You'll look better. And
that's great. That's great. And Roy, what do you?
So just to add on to him, he kind of mentioned it there at the end, is that, like I said, you'll blink and 10 years will go by. You'll blink and 20 years has gone by. I don't believe, personally, we don't believe that cancer, diabetes, obesity, all of those things are just, you're born with it, right? I mean, sure, there's a couple percentage of people that have genetic issues, but for the majority, it's all about nutrition and it's all about what we choose to do with our life. And, don't blink and be like, I always tell people, my grandparents, 60, 70 years old, locked to a wheelchair.
Right.
On oxygen all the time. The thought of that whenever 2 years ago I ran a half marathon and there's a guy in his 90s passing me up, okay, let's one hand or the other, don't go down that path. Let's fix it now. And it's through setting a goal, setting an obtainable goal. It is a lot. It's so much if you just kind of sit back and get overwhelmed with it. But if you just, want to listen to a little bit of talk from us, we can help you understand that it's about the process, right? It's one foot after the other. And
so I do have one other tip that I think it's important. It's worth sharing.
Sure. Yeah.
You want some sort of community. So if that just starts with a workout buddy, like it did for me.
Yeah.
That alone is a game changer. I don't know if that I would have stuck it out. I don't know what that 15-mile race that first year. I don't know how I would have fared knowing that I didn't have someone there supporting me. Yeah. So a community. Grit Fitness is also so successful because we've built that community, not just with our members, but we have probably the most amazing staff of coaches of ATM ever. Yeah. And you can talk to our members and they will tell you that. Our coaches are the greatest. So and we have actually, I think, 9 coaches at our place, because and check this out. They all have full-time jobs. Yeah. They all have families.
Right.
Apart from being a coach at Grit Fitness. Right. And they've all been certified. They're all certified trainers. Yep. So you're never too busy.
Right. You're never too busy. It's priority. It's a priority. They made it a priority. Well, that is awesome. If you want to get in contact with Roy or Kenny, Grit Fitness TX, the Facebook group, a Facebook page is one way, and then Grit Fitness OCR.com is their website. This is in the show notes, so you don't have to write this down. You can look at the show notes, and this will be here. Kenny, Roy, I can't thank you enough I love what you're doing. I wish I was in Texas so I could come, but if I'm in Texas, I'm coming to visit you guys.
Absolutely.
But I love what you're doing. I thank you for, taking the time. I wish you the best of luck. I wish you the best of luck in your race, but also with that community you've built and those people. You're changing so many people's lives, and it started with you guys, and now it's bleeding over to hundreds of people. I love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.